Okay, so it's been a while since our last video. I know. And we promised last video that there was going to be a tour. I know. Why is there not a tour this time? Tour is put on hold because we're doing some remodeling in the arcade, not in this room, but in the other two rooms. We've been increasing the amount of seating available by building benches, building built-ins, and that's taking a little bit of time, but it will be well worth it when it's done. So what do we have on deck for today? Some of you may remember, subscribed to Overtime's Arcade, that he brought us a Galaga a while back, a shell of a machine that had been partially converted to a multicade. And now people have been asking us about Galaga for a while here, friends, family. Anytime that we mention, oh, we have arcade games, the first question that comes is, do you have Galaga? And the answer has always been, no, we don't have Galaga, but we're on the lookout for one, and we'll eventually get one. And there have been some that said, okay, well, I'll come visit when you get a Galaga. Only then. That's the only game. None of these other games in here are interesting except for Galaga. So Charlie brings us a Galaga. He picked it up for us, close to him, and it was time to restore it. Now the cabinet itself was in pretty good shape, as noted in the pickup video. It was just missing a whole bunch of parts and had some modifications to it to support multicading, but I think you'll like what you see and that we got it going again. So now people ask us, do you have Galaga? The answer is yes. So let's start with looking over what we got in the cabinet. Okay, so what did we have in that box of parts that was actually Galaga related? We had the power brick, apparently 2 main harnesses, and that was pretty much it. We had the monitor as well over there, but the control panel, the power supply, and the PCB were not actually in the cabinet at all. Those were given to us by ArcadeMaze on Kalov, who is a fantastic human being and just wanted to help out with this project, and we are eternally grateful for his generosity in making this happen. That second harness, I'm not going to use. If anybody seeing this needs one for their Galaga restoration and I haven't already given it away, it's yours. Just send me a PM on Kalov. Okay, let's get all this stuff hooked up on the bench and see what works. Okay, so here we have Galaga all set up on the bench. Everything seems to be hooked up. So let's see if we can get life out of it. So the monitor is hooked up in the back. Double checking that. Checking. I made an extension cable for the video. That seems to be hooked up correctly. Back there as well. Board is hooked up. Power. I previously tested the voltage on the power supply here and found that it was good. So let's plug it in and see what we get. I turn on the monitor. Monitor just came on. I heard that crackle. Now let's try the Galaga. All right. Started right up. That is awesome. Now I did put the dip switches into free play setting, so that should allow us to play it. I've got the controller down here. Let's see how we do. Got it in single fire mode. it turns out, playing like this is not super easy. Damn. Okay. So I didn't even clear level 1. But it's there on the monitor. So I guess it's time to see if we can build ourselves a Galaga. Okay, so now it's time to start building Galaga. Start by putting in the linear power supply and the power brick. Now, I sped this footage up because it took me approximately an hour to put most of the things together, and I thought that would be far too long and far too boring for a video. So we're just going to watch this in 500% speed, and I will narrate. So this power brick that got put in there, that's actually from a Super Pac-Man. I didn't realize it at the time. So you can see me just spinning it around there, trying to figure out how this actually goes in, because I was trying to line it up with the shadow on the floor of the game from where the original power brick must have once been. And Super Pac's is larger, and it just did not fit at all in that orientation, especially with considering that I needed to get it to mate to the Midway Linear PSU over there. Luckily, despite my ignorance of the correct power brick, the Super Pac brick is pin compatible with the Galaga wiring harness. So despite its difficulty in location, it was still fine to use and worked on the bench. So I did not realize that it was the wrong brick until this point. So still trying to get everything installed. Now, another consequence of the wrong brick is that the harness is misplaced slightly, so it didn't quite fit. So that was a little bit of a bummer. And you can see here that I had to stop it and try to put the monitor in, but it was not fitting right. Because what I didn't realize also earlier is the brackets were mounted wrong. Whoever had tried to multicade this game had tilted the brackets forward, interestingly. So the monitor was resting far underneath the control panel when it was installed. So I was absolutely mystified as to why that would be done. You can see me tilting the brackets back up to their correct position, which is the where the shadow was on the side of the cabinet where they used to be. So I have no idea for what purpose anyone would do that, because if you mounted a screen to it, it would be far underneath the control panel. So I don't know what that was all about, but now that allowed me to put the monitor back in properly, which was nice to have. Now this is the original monitor that came with the game. The screen was a little scratched, but I think it didn't really matter when it was underneath the tinted plastic that Midway games have. So it looks fine. I'll go back to trying to shove this power brick around, because I still, at this point, did not realize that it wasn't a Galaga brick. The entire time I was thinking, oh, Galaga just has a really nice power brick. Totally unlike the Miss Pac-Man ones that we've got. So, just trying to get that situated. Coming dangerously close to hitting my head on the neck of that monitor there. I had looked at images of how to route the wiring harness for Galaga, and noticed that no two image looked exactly alike. It seemed sort of, however it was fit, sometimes draped over the PCB, and that's ultimately what I went with here. Which I think again was made more difficult by the fact that the power brick is not the correct one, even though it worked. I ended up mounting the rapid fire slightly farther to the back, behind the PCB. I should do it in a second. And that is the upper AC harness, so that would be the power switch and the marquee light connections. So I'm just trying to route that harness and failing, honestly. There we go, mounting the rapid fire PCB. That connector that's flopping loose there, that's the connector for the coin door lights. I didn't realize that at the time either, because the harness for the Super Pack does not have that connector for the coin door lights. So I'll have to tap off of something to get that, or get an original Galaga brick. Right now the coin door lights do not work. So, with the back mostly complete, it was time to start assembling the front. Now, the brackets were not in place for supporting the bezel, so I had to hammer those back in, and then realized that the staples were bad, so I needed to also screw them in, which took a little bit of time. I honestly spent a little too much time beating these. I may be somewhat of a caveman when it comes to arcade restoration. Ultimately, they went back in place just fine, so I was still pleased with it. So I screwed them in to make sure that they would stay. There's one. And there goes the other. So now they're screwed into the sides. We can put the plastic bezel on, along with the tinted shield. There's the tinted shield. See, the monitor looks much better under that, so I don't think the damage is severe or the burn is severe. I'll go with the bezel after that and just give it a nice wipe down. I did wipe it down on the back before putting it in place. And the control panel. What I didn't realize was the bezel wasn't quite fitting in place, and that's why I couldn't lock the control panel down. So, time for some finishing touches on the back. Gotta hook up the speaker and the monitor. Trying to use the original harness holes where I can. It's a cover for the safety switch. It's a little bit out of frame there, but that's what's going on there. connecting the monitor power. And you can't see it, but over on the other side, I am dealing with the speaker connections. The new speaker panel that was cut. Plugging in the monitor connections to the PCB, that's the video cable. Galaga uses a separate video cable from the main harness. And leaving the power switch hanging right there because I didn't have a plate for it to connect to the top. I did later find a plate in my parts stash and was able to get it all connected properly. So, once you got the marquee back in place, it's time to give it a test run. So turning it back around and getting it in frame of the camera so that we can see exactly how the game is doing after it's been transferred from the workbench to the actual cabinet. So let's go ahead and turn it on now. You see, we do have a picture. And we'll make a quick attempt to play it. Unfortunately, the camera had other ideas. I do not play Galaga very well. It was at this moment that the camera just died, so we'll have to do some gameplay a little later. So here it is. Sorry the camera cut out a little earlier, but here is a fully working Galaga. And thank you so much again for ArcadeMaze for giving us the parts that we needed to finish this project. It's really appreciated. Note there's no games around it right now. That's because we are starting off the new room, the pool room. This is the first game in that room, and I'm excited to see what friends it will have in the future. So why don't we do a little gameplay to wrap this up? Okay, so keep in mind, I'm no good at Galaga, so this is probably going to go poorly, but I'm going to give it a shot anyway because the game is cool, objectively, and I just suck at it. So let's go. I'm not playing with the rapid fire, so I do have to hit the button for every shot. Wow, that went very well for me. That usually does not happen. Damn it. Oh, God. I'm so bad at this. you kill all of them in a bonus wave like this, it gives you a extra point bonus. I've only ever managed to do it once. I think it's only possible with the... Oh, I missed all of them? How? No. Damn it. I don't know why it does this, but it plays this theme twice on top of itself. That seems to be the only weirdness. So, okay. Extra life, I think. Oh, I narrowly avoided getting captured there, which would have been bad given that I have no lives left. So if I had gotten captured there, that would have been game over. And that is game over. Oh well. I didn't even beat the default high score. That's how bad at this game I am. But it's fun and it's popular, so I'm glad that we have it. Okay, so that's our show for today. Thanks for watching. I hope that you all found some enjoyment in watching me flounder around in a 90-degree garage building a Galaga. I certainly had fun after the fact, now that it's all put together. So I'm going to go off and try to get past level 3 of Galaga and see how many times I can actually do that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and hopefully we will be back again with more content, and this time I'm not going to promise what, because I don't want to let you down. Sayonara.